welcome. My book, New Evidence for Two Human Origins, Discoveries that Harmonize the Bible and Science, shows mathematically and exegetically that the descendants of Adam and Eve married into an existing human race. If this is true, then how can one reconcile Romans 5:12 with the view that people lived before Adam and Eve, since Romans 5:12 seems to say that Adam was the first man to sin? Certainly, men have always been sinners. Therefore, if pre-Adamic peoples existed, they would have been sinners also. This video will explain that Romans 5:12 does not require that we believe that Adam was the first man. Adam was appointed by God to be the representative of the human race, as Christ was appointed to be the representative of the redeemed Christians. For as in Adam all die, so also in Christ all shall be made alive. 1 Corinthians 15, verse 22. Adam was the representative of all mankind, whether people lived before Adam or lived after. Paul refers to two types of sins in Romans 2:12. Sin that refers to general sin against natural law, and sin that is against the command of God. Verse 12. For all who have sinned without the law will also perish without the law, and all who have sinned under the law will be judged by the law. Romans 5:12 states, Wherefore, as by one man, that is Adam, sin entered into the world, and death by sin, and so death passed upon all men, for that all sinned. But the Greek includes a definite article before each noun, sin. Wherefore, as by one man the sin entered into the world, and death by the sin, and so death passed upon all men, for that all sinned. The next two pages show Romans 7:5 through 14. Notice in verse 5, it says, For while we were in the flesh, the sinful passions, literally in the Greek, the passions of the sins, which were aroused by the law, were at work in the members of our body to bear fruit for death. Notice, the article "the" is used before sins because it refers to a transgression against the law. Going down to verse 7, what shall we say then is the law? Sin. May it never be. On the contrary, I would not have come to know the sin except through the law. The first sin has no article. It's not referring to a transgression of the law. The second sin has the article. It is a transgression of the law. Now, going on, we see down below at verse 8, but the sin, taking opportunity through the commandment. So there we have the article, the sin, through the commandment. And now we'll go on to the next page. Verse 8 begins on the previous page, but the sin taking opportunity through the commandment. Now to this page, produced in me coveting of every kind, for apart from the law, sin is dead. Now here, there is no article, because we're talking about apart from the law. Now we go to verse 9. And I was once alive apart from the law, but when the commandment came, the sin became alive. Here, this sin is against the commandment. And it says, and I died. And this commandment, which was to result in life, proved to result in death for me, for the sin in the Greek, taking opportunity through the commandment there. This sin is from the commandment, deceived me, and through it killed me. So then the law is holy, the commandment is holy and righteous and good. Therefore did that which is good become a cause of death for me. May it never be. Rather it was, and in Greek we have an article here, the sin, in order that it might be shown to be, here there's no article, sin, by affecting my death through that which is good, meaning the law. So it says rather it was the sin, that was from the law, transgression of the law, in order that sin, apart from the law, would be seen to be sin. That through the commandment the sin might be utterly sinful. There we're back to the commandment which caused the sin and was a sin against the commandment. And in verse 14, for we know that the law is spiritual, but I am of flesh, sold into bondage to the sin. It says, for we know that the law is spiritual. Here he's going back to the law and the bondage of the law. In case any of you who do not have the Greek text and would like to check out some more verses, I have included here Appendix K, which records whether or not the article is included before the word sin in the Greek text. In conclusion, this study was designed to show that Romans 5:12 only informs us that Adam was the first man to disobey a command of God. It does not tell us that no person sinned before Adam. Therefore, we should not conclude from Romans 5:12 that humans did not exist on the earth before Adam and Eve were created. You may want to visit my blog at garytmerritt.blogspot.com or click for another video at the end of this one. Thanks for listening.